Welcome to Food News Today. This has happened to all of us. You don't have a fork, so you reach for a spoon. Now that shouldn't make a difference on how food tastes, right? Wrong. That is according to a new research published in the journal Flavor, which shows that size, shape, and color of cutlery changes the way we perceive food. Researchers had volunteers eat yogurt using spoons that varied in style, weight, and size. Then they rated the yogurt based on density, cost, and sweetness. In another trial, the yogurt was tasted using different colored spoons, and in a final experiment, participants tasted two types of cheese using forks, spoons, knives, and toothpicks. The results showed that participants found eating with a heavy spoon made yogurt seem cheaper, less dense, and generally less likable. But interestingly enough, sweeter. Eating from a blue spoon, participants found that the same yogurt was saltier than from a white spoon, where it seemed sweeter. As for the cheese experiment, participants found that cheese eaten from a knife tasted saltier, while there was little difference between eating cheese from a spoon or a fork. Now, while the results don't speak for everyone, an overriding message is apparent. Taste buds aren't everything. How we eat affects how we perceive our food. Taste isn't dictated by taste buds alone. There's a new old trend coming back into foodie fashion, and it exemplifies the continuing love of artisanal foods. Butter churning. According to NPR, from homemakers to hipsters to just plain foodies, it's a DIY trend that's making a comeback. We checked in with Facebook and asked if any of you churn your own butter, or would you? Dana says, I have. It's so much better than store-bought. Chris agrees. When we were milking cows on our dairy, I often made butter. Nothing better than homemade butter on homemade bread. And Beth says, I've accidentally done it, and yes, it was better than the stuff you buy at the store. According to a new report by market research firm Technomic, 83% of consumers say cravings are the main reason they purchase food outside their home. And certain restaurants seem to have plugged into this and have tapped into foods that keep the customers coming back. Technomic surveyed almost 23,000 adults and found that 75% who visit restaurants more than once a week had their eyes on certain craveable items that they can't make at home. From the 115 restaurant chains that Technomic tracks, here are a few of the most craveable items. Krispy Kreme took the lead, perhaps proving that a lot of people fall victim to donut cravings, or fat and sugar. Other dessert chains, Cold Stone Creamery and Auntie Anne's, rounded out the top three. Out of the casual dining chains, Red Lobster rated higher on the addiction scale than did Olive Garden or Cracker Barrel. Consumers found the seafood options to be the most crave-worthy, but also highlighted the cheddar biscuits. Absent from the graph, interestingly enough, burger and pizza chains. That's all for this week's edition of Food News Today. Don't forget to check out our website at supermarketguru.com. Send me a message on Facebook and Twitter. Food News Today is sponsored by ConAgra Foods, who shares with me the desire to provide the most current, interesting, and unbiased food news. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next week.